Hi guys, and welcome back to LPB Racing. This is the Mixed Championship on Project Cars 2. This is round 6, race 3 now at Donington. Ready for a start. It's raining now, we're off. Arsenal Blade on pole, and I think there was an incident in the back. Blatney and Stevie come together. I think, yeah, Stevie's off in the background, so we'll get a replay on that after the first lap. So Neil Farmack with Cyrex up the inside. Bidzster and Jamo side by side. Arsenal Blade gets away at the front, but no, he doesn't now. Neil Farmack gets up the inside of him. So it's Arzadar and Cyrex side by side now. Arzadar goes wide and takes Cyrex off the road. Bidzster's off the road as well. As you're coming towards the old hairpin, everyone else through. Blatney's still in 6th place there. Stevie's still at the back. So as we go up to McLean's, we've got Neil in the lead. Arzadar in 2nd. As we come up to McLean's, Arzadar's gone straight on. Arzadar goes off. Just completely misses his braking point at McLean's. And goes right back to 7th place. Unlucky there. There's Bidzster to me, massive air at Coppice. Just trying to take a bit more of the inside, and the car flying up in the air. I'm surprised he's not got a little bit of damage with that, but everyone continues on. So we've got Neil in the lead from Jamo, TY, Bidzster, Blatney, Cyrex. That's your order so far. Again, if you watched the previous 2 races, you'll hear me say this, but I'll say it again for this one. Unfortunately, only 8 people here today because of other people having work and family commitments. So it's understandable that, you know, life gets in the way. So we've got 8 people here, but still, 8 people is plenty enough people for a good race. As we come round Goddard's in the wet, watching for the track, just watching out for the track conditions changing because the rain is scheduled to get heavier. So we're going to see how things go. So Bidzster into Redgate. All clean through there. There's Stevie at the back. So what we'll do is we'll get those replays in now. Here's the replay of the start, but we're going to look at Blatney and see what happens. So Blatney gets a good start and then just loses control of the car and goes straight across into Stevie. So wheel spins and goes straight across into Stevie. That was not Stevie's fault by any means. Here's a replay of the start on board with Stevie, looking at, and so then you see Blatney just comes across, and then we just end up in the wall before we've even gone 10 feet. Here's a replay on board with Cyrex. You see Arsenal Blade goes wide there, so Neil goes through, and we're about to go alongside him round the outside, and Arsenal loses grip, comes across. So really it was Cyrex shouldn't really put himself in that position, he should have just stayed behind. So as we come back from them, we've got Blatney and Cyrex close together as we go down the crane of curves. Blatney in the Ginetta, Cyrex in the Ligier. Round the old hairpin at the bottom of the hill and power up through where the old Starkey's Bridge used to be. And it's not gone now, and then into Schwantz and then into McLean's. Beautiful circuit, this Donington Park. We go around McLean's, the car's looking a lot more planted to the ground in the wet for some reason on Project Cars. The cars seem to handle better in the wet than they do in the dry. So I don't know what that's all about, but you know, well, we're not complaining. If in the wet it's quite good grip, but in the dry obviously it does need to improve the physics a bit in the dry. We go through the chicane, Bidzster through there nice and cleanly as we go watch Jamo into the Melbourne Loop. Everyone a bit more spread out now, but still that's what wet races can do for you. As TY gets a little bit sideways out of the Melbourne Loop, and Bidzster will slowly start to catch up, I would imagine. TY looks like he's struggling a little bit more in this wet weather, but still Neil in the lead from Jamo, TY, Bidzster. As we go across the line, again, got to watch out for those conditions changing. We've got 1 lap less on the race distance due to the wet weather, so 9-lap race. As we go down towards down the crane of curves now, everyone line astern. Down towards the old hairpin. Let's see how TY does this time. Nice and smooth and simple. Uses a lot of curb on the way out though. Got to be careful not to abuse the curbs in the wet, because that's one thing that can trip you up. As we go into McLean's, again watching TY through there nicely. As we look further back, when the camera catches up to him, there, Blatney's off the road. Blatney's off the road at the old hairpin, and slow as we go up towards Schwantz, and Stevie will go around the outside. Gets Blatney gets the car that's coming to him after the start, and Blatney goes round again. He's going to hit the wall. Oh, boom! He's going to have to pit to get rid of that damage now. So unlucky for Blakeney. Not reverses right across the other side of the track into the gravel. That's not what you want to do. So not having a good race, Blakeney here. And Stevie didn't have a very good start due to Blakeney losing control at the start of the race. As Bidzster now attacking TY. Bidzster versus TY. Round 130 something or whatever, because it's always these two that are together on track. And TY goes round the Goddards. Oh, there's no contact there. TY just lost the back of the car. Now he's in the middle of the road. He's got to be careful as Ozadar comes towards him and just misses him. Oh, he just slid the back of the car out. Just lost the back end. We'll get a replay. Here's a replay of what happened to TY. Goddard's on lap 3 on board with Bidzster. He goes into the corner and just loses the back end. Bidzster very lucky to avoid him there, but just saw the back of the car go around for TY. So as we come back from that, TY recovers in 6th place now. So only lost a few places because there's not many people in this race today. So Bidzster up to 3rd place, and now his next target is Jamo, but he's got one little thing to worry about first, and that's Cyrex, who's all over the back of him. So Cyrex coming up from the back after being just a little bit muscled out on the crane of curves by Ozadar, but still continuing in 4th place. As Bidzster again, a lot of curb going into Coppers, very confident with the car around there. So Bidzster on it now, Cyrex trying to stay with him. As we look back at Ozadar, there he is, and TY's behind him now, so TY on the catch up now. After making that mistake at Goddard's, he'll not want to make that again. As he go into the chicane, there goes Ozadar, and TY running a bit wide there. He's just, don't think he's got the hang of this car in the wet. As the rain possibly getting worse now, the rain looks a lot heavier than it did before. See it coming down in droves now. So the track will be getting a lot wetter in places, especially the chicane and the Melbourne Loop. We've got to watch out for them because they are possible flood areas of the track on this game. They're not in real life. They don't exaggerate that much in real life, but obviously in the game they do exaggerate quite a lot. As Neil is now only got 1.5 seconds in the lead from Jamo. So Jamo looking good to catch Neil here. He's on quite a good pace. As you go through the old hairpin at the bottom of the hill, lovely line through there, not going anywhere near the white lines. Perfect line there from Jamo. Up through Starkey's and Schwantz, there goes Neil, so it's Ginetta in the lead from Ligier. As they go through McLean's again, using a bit of the inside curb, but not using any of the outside, being very sensible not to try and get the car to spin round on the wet. As Bidzster and Cyrex are still quite close together in the background, not as close as they were. Bidzster goes a tad wide there this time, but gets away with it. Cyrex with a nice neat line through there also. As they come down the straight, Jamo and Neil Farmack still quite close together. As you look at Jamo through the chicane, again I think the track's getting a lot more treacherous there. As we've got in the background, we've got Cyrex and Bidzster closing up. Bidzster's lost time to Cyrex and he's just made a little mistake at the chicane, possibly the water on the track. But he's not going to give up, he's going to go right round the outside of Cyrex if needs be, and Cyrex loses it on the inside on traction. Oh no, Cyrex goes right round, Ozadar blade goes wide, but then gets away with it. So Cyrex patiently waits to rejoin, just makes his own mistake, too much power on the way out, and round he goes. So everyone continuing from that. Neil Farmack still in the lead, still the same gap to Jamo, still both keeping it very consistent indeed, but just got to be careful with that water on the track because it is getting heavier this rain. As Ozadar blade, there he is in 4th place into red gate and loses just misses his braking point straight over and just misses the inner shed sign. And Cyrex looks like he might power through as well, going down the crane of curves. Yes he does. So Ozadar blade recovers in 6th place, and again just shows you one mistake can let you go backwards. So TY up to 4th place now through the old hairpin, and again cuts the corner a bit and then goes wider as a result. So not very good through there. As let's go on board now with Jamo. Let's go on the roof cam and then let's have a look at how wet this track is down here. So let's see down towards the chicane on the brakes, and then there's quite a lot of water there as everyone's struggling to go wide. It was really struggling for grip. There's a lot of water on track there. Can't really see it from the replay camera very well, but on the actual day on the track it was very, very wet. As we come down into here, you'll see Neil Farmack goes wide on the puddle, so you can't really see it on the replay, but there is a stream of water across the track at the Melbourne Loop and at the chicane, so that's why people are running very wide, and Bidzster looks like he's closing up on these lots, so Bidzster favouring these conditions. Well, then again, this is Bidster's home track, he loves this place. So Bidzster on the move. Jamo is still not hanging around though, and Neil, both the same gap between them, as we go on to lap 7 out of 9 now. Coming down towards the first corner at Redgate. Through Redgate we go. Bidzster with lights on now, closing up as we look back at Arzadar Blade in 5th place. Everyone else a bit more spread out behind. Where's Blakeney? Blakeney's here at the Melbourne Loop, still struggling round in that car. Not really his favourite car track combo, especially with the conditions. So doing well just to keep the car going. And even if you finish the race, you get points anyway, because only 8 people arrive, so you might as well try and finish the race if you can and get the points in. So meanwhile, there's Cyrex after a couple of one error and one sort of unforced error, and down in 6th place, but I'm sure he'll be able to make up a few places by the end if he can keep up his pace from the last 2 races, because he was very good on pace, just didn't have the overall look really. So Cyrex goes through Coppice, plenty of curb. Out the other side as we go, and at the front it's all happened. Jamo's gone round and Neil's lost a lot of time. Bidzster's up to 2nd place, so that must have been the water on track. So we'll get a replay on that. Here's a replay on lap 7 of what happened to Neil Farmack and Jamo to lose all that time. So as you come here, there's water across the track. Neil just goes round, and so does Jamo. He goes round even more. Both pit round at the same time. Bidzster very lucky to avoid both cars there, and I think that's how he gets up to 2nd place. But as we go through the Melbourne Loop, you can see all the cars struggling for grip through the Melbourne Loop, because there's a big, massive stream of water across the track. It's like a river going downhill. Just got to be so careful as we go into Goddard's. So Jamo back down to 3rd, Bidzster up to 2nd. Now he's got a few more laps now to get Neil. Here we go into Redgate. Bidzster looking for the lead now, loving these wet conditions. But again, he's been lucky in the form of Neil Farmack and Jamo making a mistake there, so he's closed right up to Neil and got past Jamo. So into the old hairpin. Neil takes a good line through there, as does Bidzster. Going round out of there up towards Schwantz and McLean's. We'll just have a quick peek back at Jamo. And TY just behind him. So they're still in the positions that they were in. TY closing up from that mistake earlier. So as we go back to the leader, Neil Farmack. And that black car behind him, Bidzster, so Team White versus Team Black. Down to the chicane. You'll see the water, but you'll not see the water as much as you will on camera. Both cars taking it very slowly indeed through there. Just been as careful as they can be, and Jamo's lost it again on the water. Oh, Jamo aquaplanes off on the water. Back down to 4th place. So TY gets up to 3rd on the podium. As we look at Bidzster and Neil coming out of the Melbourne Loop now. So they've passed most of the water, back round towards Goddard's, and about to start the last lap of the race. Neil a bit wide there, but again, it doesn't matter if you're wide on the way in, you can get a good line on the way out. Bidzster flashing his lights here, I'm coming for you. So Neil Farmack into Redgate for the last time, Bidzster following. Round Redgate, that's the one corner done. Down the crane of curves. Definitely not flat out in these conditions. Tap of the brake just to stable the car through the crane of curves, out of the old hairpin. Bidzster's got quite a good run here. Will he have a go? Will he have a go? Looks left, looks right. Just has to wait a little bit longer just to see if he can put the pressure on Neil Farmack. As we go up towards Coppice, this is going to be fun, especially when they get to the water-covered track at the chicane and the Melbourne Loop. So Bidzster gets a good run through Coppice, but so does Neil Farmack. He's doing whatever Bidzster can do, he can do better. Coming down to the chicane for the last time. Neil moves out to defend. Onto the brakes now. You'll see the water have a big effect here. Look at Bidzster sliding round, and Neil's slid even more. And Bidzster sneaks through, and so does TY. And TY just comes across onto Neil. Oh, what was all that about? Oh no! TY and Neil in the background get caught up in each other. Jamo and Azad are on the way as well. TY recovers in the background. We've got Jamo about to pass Neil and maybe Azad as well at the inside. They've all got to stop. Azad's up the inside, 3 wide into the Melbourne loop, and Azad says, "Oh, thank you very much, boys. I'll take you both." Jamo stuffs Neil onto the grass. Neil's got no traction there. We come up towards Goddard's, but Bidzster crosses the line to win race 3. A dramatic end to race 3. Well done to Bidzster. Azad Blade's just going to get second from Jamo. It's going to be a close finish. Jamo's just spun on the line. Oh, Jamo spun across the line, and Neil gets third. TY fourth. Jamo spins on the line and goes right back down to 5th place. Oh, Jamo on the line. Cyrex in 6th. Stevie is going to come home in 7th position. And Blakeney back here somewhere. There he is. Blakeney is going to finish in 8th place. What a dramatic end. We'll get some replays on that action at the end. Here's a replay on board with TY at the chicane. So you see Neil goes through there, and then all of a sudden we just come across, and then we take Neil and ourselves out. Here's an angle on board with Neil Farmack now with that incident. So you see he goes round there. Bidzster goes round the outside of us. We rejoin and then wait for it. TY's there, and then all of a sudden just comes across and takes us out into the wall. Here's an angle now from TY's on board camera. You can see the hands working, and we just correct a slide, and then we just go straight into Neil and take him out. Okay, let's go on board with Neil now, just after he's rejoined from that incident with TY. So you see Jamo there, and then wait for it. You'll see Azad Blade on the inside. Here he goes. Azad takes both, and then Jamo gets on the power and then just sort of pushes Neil onto the grass under traction. Neil's trying to recover, and then we go up towards Goddard's. Round Goddard's we go. Now keep an eye on Jamo's car in front. He goes on the power onto the curb, onto the grass, and just spins round. And we nick 3rd place on the line. Okay guys, let's take you through that result then. So Bidzster was a very lucky winner in that race to win that one from Azad Blade in 2nd place with one of the best overtakes at the Melbourne Loop I've ever seen. Then it was Neil Farmack in 3rd, TY in 4th, Jamo spins just before the line in 5th position, Cyrex in 6th, Stevie 7th, and Blakeney rounds off the 8. So there's your winner, Bidzster. Bidzster the winner of race 3. So we'll see you guys next time for the final round of the Mixed Championship on Project Cars 2 at Sakito in Touring Cars. We'll see you then guys, take care.